I am filming this for now the 3rd time because I have been ill. I had the plague, the flu, whatever you want to call it. It was awful. It was terrible. All I wanted to do was film this freaking video because I was so excited about it, but I was just so sick. I went to sleep at one point with blood all over my face because I was just so sick. And unfortunately, I did just wash my hair this time. So I decided to not do the blood because once you get blood in your hair, you have to wash it. I couldn't do it this time. Here's what it looked like though. So we're getting a subpar version this time. Sorry. I am still kind of struggling to breathe, so the inhaler will be getting me through this. But without further ado, let's jump into it. Don't you worry, folks. I did in fact make another PowerPoint. Oh shit. Here we go again. If you thought in-laws were bad, well, what about an entire world network of Satan worshippers fighting over a single ring of power? And no, I'm not talking about the other amazing franchise with Elijah Wood. We're talking about Ready or Not 2. It gets even crazier, so strap in, or on, or up, whatever your preference is. Just get strapped and get ready. This is the sequel for the 2019 film Ready or Not by Radio Silence, which yours truly did just make a video on. So if you're curious, please go check it out. If not, we'll carry on. A super brief rundown. Rich assholes hunt final girl Grace on her wedding night because they made a deal with the devil, but Baddie survives and they all pop like water balloons. And the film cinematically ends with her, drenched in blood, taking a long drag on a cigarette. And this film picks up right where we left off. We are back on the porch. Right back into it. But unfortunately, the adrenaline has run out and the blood loss finally catches up with Grace. So she goes down immediately. That is how we start the film, and I think it is such a great choice to throw us right back into it. No boring exposition catching us up. We are back in the action, continuing the story, and I thought that that was perfect. So the new situation is that due to Grace's victory, which is something that really doesn't happen, apparently they said like the last time was like around the 60s, I think, but basically, since she won, there are 5 other families that must try to kill her before dawn in order to acquire the high seat, which is dictated by the Ring of Power. And that person wins everything. My poor girl, though, she wants nothing to do with that. All she wants is a damn cigarette. She's in the hospital, she wakes up, and she's finding out about too much information all at the same time. She's also reunited with her estranged sister, and some other things happen. It's just a lot right off the bat. But I like that they do that to us. It keeps the story exciting. They also really expand the lore in this one, which I was personally excited. I love some lore. Give it to me. Give me all of it. Thank you so much. This one also went a lot more macabre, especially in the ending, which we're not talking about yet. We're still gonna try to stay spoiler free. I'll let you know when we're not. I am kind of obsessed with the fact that she had to put the wedding dress back on. It's so insanely cheesy, but it's also kind of become her super suit at this point. Let her have her super suit. That's just okay. I do think that the first half is a little bit weaker. After, I'm just gonna call it bath time, things really kick into gear for me. I also think it just looks better at that point. Something about the daytime shots, just the cinematography was not hitting for me as much. It gets better at night. Something about the setting of the mansion and just the way everything was lit in the last movie just looked so good. But the imagery in the second half gets really fantastic, which we will talk about. And with all of that said, I am going to be getting into spoilers now. So if you didn't want any spoilers, I'm so sorry. It's just really hard for me to talk about this movie without spoilers because I want to talk about the lore and I can't do that if we're not doing spoilers. So we are going to have to do spoilers. But if you don't want any spoilers, run away while you can because ready or not, here I go. Don't worry, guys. I made another family tree. I think this one's even cuter. It was a lot harder though because there's a lot more people and honestly none of them are really family, so it's kind of confusing. But that's okay. I thought that this would be helpful so you can visualize the main players of the council. And I did name this Le Council in memoriam of the Le Damas family, who is no longer part of the council because if you know what I mean. Let's start with, of course, my queen. Samara Weaving returns as Grace McCauley. Yes, she does get a last name, thank goodness. And she is very adamant about being called her last name and not Le Damas. She does not claim that shit, and I respect her for it. She is back for round 2. She is even more over this shit and she wants a cigarette even more. It is really exciting to get to see a different side of her. We get to learn a little bit more about her backstory, which I love, and she just gets to be even more badass. And Samara Weaving is just such an incredible actress. Her facial expressions, of course, the goat scream. I will never get over it. It's so iconic. She just is the definition of a scream queen for me. And speaking of scream queens, we have Catherine Newton playing her estranged sister, Faith Macaulay. I was so excited about this because I love Abigail and I love Lisa Frankenstein. So I was like, Catherine Newton is the perfect choice for this universe. So she is Grace's estranged sister that Grace left 7 years prior. And it was a classic situation. Grace was the older sister, left Faith when she turned 18. And this abandonment was just something that Faith could not get over. I think this character is such an amazing addition because Grace and Faith have such great banter. I love that they don't always see eye to eye. It makes it so much more interesting and makes the stakes a little bit higher too, because you don't know if they're actually going to be successful in what they're doing because they're fighting the entire time, not just with the others, but they're fighting within themselves too. She's also very Gen Z. That was very much the energy that I got, which I saw of some criticism online. People thought she was kind of annoying and lazy, and I was like, that was the whole point. She's just playing Gen Z in this situation. We're gonna try, but also I do think it was a missed opportunity not to give her a vape. Because how funny would it be if they're hiding behind shit and she's like puffing on a little vape? That would have been so funny. And it would have been a cool juxtaposition to Grace's quest for a cigarette, Faith's quest for her vape. Where's my jewel? So not cool. Where's my jewel? We'll get more into their sibling bond after I introduce the other pair of siblings because I think that they're perfect foils to one another. So we have the Danforths. We of course have Daddy Danforth. He really doesn't do a whole lot, but it is so cool to see body horror icon David Cronenberg in a movie. I had no idea that was happening. He does end a war with a single phone call, which is so cunt. But then he, kicks the bucket. Thanks to his dearest children. And they do this so that they can both participate in the games because they're twins, because only the head of the family can participate in the games. And so it would have been him. So he decides that it's better if they off him and then they both enter the games, which is very sneaky. And those children are, of course, the iconic Sarah Michelle Gellar as Ursula Danforth. Buffy, where you been, Loca? This was another exciting one for me. Oh my gosh. What an icon. And we even get a couple Buffy references in the movie, which I thought was so fun. And Ursula is a pretty interesting character. I like her dynamic with Titus a whole lot, which leads me to Titus Danforth, played by Sean Hattasey from The Pit. Which this was hard for me. This was hard. This kind of ruined him in The Pit for me. I can't see Doc the same after this because he's so fucking scary in this role. He's just not fine shit in this. It's so unfortunate. This character is the worst, literally the worst, but also such an interesting villain that I'm kind of like, I hate you, but I'm sad. LaBelle is very strong within this one. Devil coursing through the veins. So our two evil siblings, they have a very strong connection, trauma bond. I'm not sure about that. I don't know what exactly went on in their childhood, but considering their father had them murder him at the beginning, can't be good. And Ursula just constantly is making excuses for him because he's clearly like evil, and she's like, nah, he's just a silly little guy. Don't worry about it.
Get your fucking dog, bitch! It don't bite. Yes, it do!
I know he's nice on the inside, deep down. Right? But I really like the juxtaposition of Grace and Faith to Ursula and Titus. Grace and Faith, on one hand, they butt heads the entire time, but they have no problem expressing their qualms with one another. So they're very real with each other. Titus and Ursula, on the other hand, they present as a very unified front, but it's all kind of a facade, and it really starts to crumble pretty quickly once the games kick off and the stakes become higher and higher. Because at first, everything is not that serious. They don't think that this is going to be a big thing at all. They're like, this is going to be so easy for us, right? But then the second things start to get a little difficult. They're not looking so unified, which is the opposite for Grace and Faith. They become stronger the higher the stakes become and the more they have to work together. I kind of feel for Ursula because she has spent her whole life trying to make excuses for this man, and she just really starts to see his true colors. Titus also recognizes this, and he starts to have resentment towards her too, so they're just butting heads. Grace and Faith, they just genuinely have a kinship and a connection that nothing can ruin. Even being estranged for 7 years, they still love each other so much and will do whatever it takes to protect each other. Now play Sibling Rivalry by Pup. Okay, this is gonna take forever if I deeply explain everybody, so we're just gonna quick fire through the rest. A lawyer, we'll talk about him more later, but Elijah Wood, love this role for him so much. He did such a great job, and you could tell that he was just having so much fun with it, and I love that. This is a character that is truly just in it for the love of the game, and I enjoy that so much. Next, we have the Rajan family, with the head originally being Madhu Rajan, who is played by Varun Saranga, and they have such a good menacing walk. Weapon of choice, sword. That doesn't go well, unfortunately, but he looked cool with it for a while. Next in line was Viraj Rajan. Weapon of choice, none. Immediately gives up and makes his wife participate, which leads me to Martina Rajan. What an icon. Her weapon of choice, car, because she just drives the fuck away. She says, oh, you're turning over your entire fortune to me? Cool. I'm gonna leave. And so she just fucks off. Incredible. Raj does wear such a cunty little sweater throughout most of the movie, which I do love. It's like a cable knit, but like a super loose cable knit. I love it. Next, we have the Al-Qaeda family, whose head is originally Ignacio, played by Nestor Carbonell, who really does put a lot of effort in. I gotta give him that. Weapon of choice, gun. He really does the most with it. And if I had to pick a favorite, this is my favorite family. I think that they're the most entertaining. I like the Danforths, but they're fun. So he has a gun. We have next in line Francesca, who is an absolute icon. She's crazy, but I love her. She was also Alex's ex-girlfriend, which I thought was a fun little twist. That was cute. And her favorite weapon is a grenade launcher. We love women in STEM. And then we have, of course, the youngest member of the family, who is just a child with gun. We always have to have a child with a gun. That's just become a very important part of these films. This kid has a lot of attitude, though, and is definitely more interesting than the last kid with a gun. So, love that. Then we have the Wan family with Wan Chen Xing as the head, played by Olivia Chang, who is pretty iconic in this role. I'm not gonna lie. She is serving. She has her little drone at the beginning. She also does not want to participate in this shit. She's like, this is a waste of my time. I found a loophole, which I guess would be her weapon of choice, is loophole. Until it's not, until it is sword, which is also iconic. I love that she just has a sword. She does also have a son. Cannot remember the son's name. The son does not do a lot. I'm so sorry. She does offered for Grace to marry her son, though. Next, we have the Wilkinson family. Kevin Durand plays Bill, who is just a coked out asshole that tries to start the game early and pisses off LaBelle. Because LaBelle doesn't fuck with cheaters, so immediately explodes. I just had to include them because they're technically one of the families, but they don't contribute at all to this. Imagine destroying your whole family. So it is a pretty big cast of characters, but I think they do a pretty decent job, at least characterizing everyone a little bit. There's some people that don't get as much, but that's okay. I really care about the main people, so I think they did a good job balancing all of that. And now, in true Jenny Nicholson fashion, I have gathered the rest of my thoughts into a numbered list in order to limit myself and not talk about this for hours on end. Starting with a classic. You didn't know your fiance was in a devil cult? A valid question. Girl, Grace, it is clear that she did not ask enough questions. I will defend her to a point, but there are so many signs. There were so many red flags. Where's the red flag guy? Grace really needed to go on one of those Reddit forums and just ask for a second opinion. I just love that we get more lore about said devil cult and its presence throughout the world.
You guys seem like good people.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
There was some parts where they could have gone in a little bit more, but then decided not to. As far as extra lore goes, I tried to take notes while I was in the theater, but it was really dark in there and I didn't want to bring out a flashlight like an asshole, so they look a little rough. But what I remember is there was originally the 6 families. that this is a seldom used clause in the bylaws, the last instance being from October 1963. And then there was also, the lawyer mentioned 2:31 p.m. being significant. That's when they start the game, and he was about to explain why. He was like, we shall commence at 2:31 p.m. in accordance with the time that lmao, and then he just stops, so we don't get to know what the time was. And I'm so mad. I guess it's like a stupid thing and nobody cares, but like, I care. I want to know. Ooh, I did like that they specified that they had to use weapons from the time that they made their deal with lmao, so that made each family have a different weapons that they could use. Thought that that was really cool. Loved that there was a blood book. That was fun. It added some spookiness to it. They all just sliced their hands in order to sign the book. One thing I did also find funny was that there was no use of the song, except there was an instance where Grace sings the song, which I thought was really funny. Loved that, but they didn't actually like play the song to start, which leads me to believe that that was specifically the Ladomas family like, let's have some fun. Let's play a little song while we play our murder game, but it's entirely unnecessary. I liked that whimsy, which leads me into the other thing that I really liked. The lawyer. I just love a morally gray character. I love someone that's truly just in it for the love of the game. They don't really have skin in the game per se. I mean, he really didn't. He was just kind of, he's like, here are the rules. I am truly just here to represent my client, Mr. lmao, and if any of you fuck up, not my problem. And in the end, this is major spoilers for the ending. If you want to click away, go ahead. I'm giving you time. So in the end, when Grace does eventually win, yes, and she gets the ring and she's like, yeah, throwing it away. He's like, even gives her a little smirk. He's like a little, unconventional, but I like it. Very obvious that he himself loves a good loophole. He's like, I love when people pay attention to the rules. I'm down. I'm down for anything. And Elijah Wood just did such a good job with the characterization. And also, it's so impressive to make exposition exciting. And a lot of what the lawyer's character is there to do is to expound on things, explain the rules, explain the lore, kind of games going. He's just very smirky and honestly exactly what I would imagine a lawyer for the devil would be like. Perfect. The next thing I really liked was the hunting squad in general. I feel like they were pretty strong. Some families didn't really get a whole lot to do. I do think it was smart to kill off another family early on, so that made it less people to focus on, because if we would have also had the Wilkinsons, it would have just been too much. I liked the introduction of the loophole of the marriage. I thought that was interesting. It's a little cheesy, and I've definitely read a lot of Wattpad stories like that where they're like, oh no, my self-insert character has to marry the Demon King. So like that's kind of funny, and I feel like there's a lot of dark fantasy girlies that are gonna eat up the dark demon wedding thing. I didn't hate it. Like, a little cheesy, but I like the way they did it. I think they handled it pretty well, so it's okay with me. And I liked that all the families were a little chaotic. The next thing I really like is Grace and Faith's relationship. I think that this was done really well. Something that's been done before, you know, estranged siblings coming together in trying times, but I thought it was a fun addition to the story, and it added stakes, because obviously in the first one there were stakes because you wanted Grace to survive, but now you also have like, I want them to repair this bond. I don't understand why they hate each other. It seems like they are so similar, and you can see that they could just get over this hurdle, that they could be friends and it would be okay. I liked that they were also physically handcuffed at the beginning. It helps to represent them dragging each other down, them being chained together despite them trying to get as far apart from each other as they possibly could. No matter what, they have this bond that they can never fully sever. And then once they start to work together, they're able to break these chains, but then they still stay together. They also have so many moments that are so funny and emotional at the same time. I do think the backstory is unfortunately not as strong as it could have been, though. Her just leaving when she was 18, I think we needed to add more stakes. Like, there was some abuse happening within the foster family. We need to know a little bit more about why Faith was so hurt that Grace left, and maybe it was just they were super close and it really did feel like a betrayal. But I think that's the only part of that kind of fell a little bit flat for me. No, it wasn't bad. It could have been explained a little bit more. We had bodies to explode, so there wasn't a lot of time for that. Understandable. The next thing I really liked was the use of practical effects. So fun. They definitely stepped up their game in this one, and I was excited to see it. Specifically, I did like this scene, bath time. It was so gross, so disgusting, but also the looks on their faces while my guy was getting permed and pressed is so funny because they go from like fear to like really experience all the stages of grief while it's happening, and I think that's so realistic. They're not professionals, they don't know what they're doing, but they also kind of can't let this guy live because he's going to try to kill them. So they're like, and then they realize that they probably need a phone off of him, so they stop it, and then they have to like through his clothes for the phone. It's disgusting, but it's so fun. It's also the first death that the rich people have to see. They see one of their own get killed, and they realize no amount of money can protect them in this situation. They are all in danger, and it's so beautiful to watch the light leave their eyes when they realize that this is not just in the bag for you. You could die or worse, lose all your money. Horrifying. And it just really sets the tone for the rest of the movie. Everyone takes it very serious because it's also very serious for Grace and Faith because this is where they're kind of together. They're starting to see eye to eye more. Next thing I really liked, I live in Bushwick. I don't even know what that means. I'm not from New York, but I just think it's really funny because I've seen memes about Bushwick, so I kind of understand. I mean, it's probably the equivalent of me saying, I live in the Midwest. I know, don't make fun of me, okay, guys? The rent's so cheap out here. But by this, I mean that I love the way Faith's character builds. I like that she's kind of meh at the beginning. Like, she's just like, she's funny occasionally, but she does kind of feel like dead weight, no offense. Girl, like, you kind of got thrown into this scary situation. I would be dead weight too. But she becomes very likable as her mask starts to slip and she starts to kind of real person, and she starts to connect more with Grace, and we uncover more about their backstory. And at the end of the day, she is Gen Z, so she's gonna be a little bit like, meh. She's gonna be a little ironic. She's gonna be a little bit like, doesn't matter if I participate. But then she kind of does have to participate. So I think she becomes more interesting as it progresses. And I just like the little moments like this where, you know, they've been trying to put on a front for one another. Like, no, yeah, I have it all together. Absolutely. And then as it goes on, it's like, oh no, you don't have it together. That's okay. We cannot have it together. Hey, Sisterhood. Okay, number 7. I think we're at number 7. I don't think I've even been counting. Number 7. So there are 2 scenes that take place simultaneously, and I think that they are 2 of the strongest scenes in the whole movie. So one is, I think, one of the funniest fight scenes, and then the other is one of the most brutally horrific fight scenes. And that sounds crazy that they take place at the same time, I know, but let me explain. So in one room, we have Grace versus Francesca, who is Alex's ex. And Francesca comes into this battle, 1, in a wedding dress. Girl, that's crazy. 2, holding a grenade launcher. Less crazy, maybe a little crazy. It's on par for her family though, so I'm not even shocked. But unfortunately, that shit is backwards. So she just blows up everything behind her. It's so funny. And she also delivers one of my favorite lines. Goodbye, cunt, while wearing this wedding dress with a rocket launcher. Iconic. You cannot convince me otherwise. She is serving insane amounts of cunt. By and that perfectly sets up the goofiness for the rest of the fight. Grace is also really hurt at this point. She has been staked, stabbed, prodded. She's bleeding out at this point. A little loopy. Pepper spray gets involved. They both have pepper spray in their eyes. I'm not going to give away the whole thing, but I will give away that there are instruments involved and a beautifully funny song is playing while all of this is going on. It's amazing. But unfortunately also while this is going on, there is a sickening fight taking place between Titus and Faith. So right before this happened, Grace and Faith had like a falling out, and they were like, you know what? We're going to survive on our own. Like, I don't need you. So they've parted ways. Faith is all alone. She gets cornered by Titus, and the fight that takes place between them is so nasty, and it really just feels like you're being jolted back into reality. The movie is pretty goofy for the most part, but this scene reminds you that like, oh, this is serious and this is awful what's happening to these 2 women. Because up until this point, most of the violence is cut with enough humor that makes moving to the next scene super easy and fun. But this time around, the film intentionally makes us focus on what's happening to Faith. It lingers and it just makes you feel every single punch and kick, and it's awful. But I think it was so important to reinforce the stakes of this movie, and it's also so hard to watch because Grace is in the next room. And you're just like, Grace, finish this fight. I know you got a lot going on, but get the fuck out there. The whole time you're like on the edge of your seat, like, please, please, girl, please. I think the choice to have these scenes happen simultaneously is very effective at delivering the laughs, but also reminding us that this is still a battle fucking royale, which is another film that does a good job of switching from laughs to brutality at the drop of the hat. If you've never seen it, it is like the OG of the battle royale genre. It is brutal, it is awful, but there's also so many funny moments too. You're like laughing, but cautiously because you don't know what the fuck is gonna happen next. Because one moment you're sitting having a very wholesome moment with these kids, and then the next you're forced to watch them suffer at the hands of those same kids they once called friends. And I think that these two scenes kind of capture that energy. These scenes are pretty effective on their own, but when they're played simultaneously, they really deliver their point while also sending the viewer on an emotional roller coaster, like you're getting thrown. Number 8, the ending. Major ending spoilers now. If you didn't want to know, you're gonna have to know now. So overall, I think I liked the ending. At first, I thought maybe it was a little bit too predictable, but we took a lot of turns to get here, so I'm not terribly mad about it. And there were some parts that did shock me. After everything happens, Grace realizes that her and Faith are not gonna both make it out alive if she doesn't do something, so she decides to propose to Titus, the dangerous man. Uh-oh. So she makes a deal with him. She's like, listen, I'll marry you. You can have the power. Just let my sister go. Okay, fine. He agrees. And then exciting for me, we get another costume change. I do have a little annoyance about the costume change though. How their faces look so good. They just got beat up so bad and they just have a couple little beautifully placed marks. Okay. Come on now, like they look gorgeous. At least a like puffy eye or something. What are we doing? Anyways, while Grace is getting ready, Ursula, Titus's sister, comes in and they kind of have a moment where Ursula's like, hey, listen, I'm kind of realizing that my brother is actually crazy. So, just you, and also you're gonna have to try to control him because like it's a dangerous game, which was an interesting enough conversation. I was like, okay, pretty on par with her character, because her character talks about earlier in the movie about how it's just the system, we're just part of the system. So she's just telling Grace, now they're part of the system, this is kind of how it works. I do kind of think it would have been fun if we got a proposal like Ursula was like, don't marry him, marry me instead. In my head I went, oh, lesbians? But it wasn't. So that was just me. Probably made sense, but made sense in my heart. But unfortunately, Titus does not like this conversation and just kills her immediately. It's so sad. I hated having to watch Sarah Michelle Gellar die. Moving on though, we have a satanic wedding in the Black Chapel. It just looks so cool. The whole temple scene looks great. I love the new dresses and stuff. So incredible. What a Halloween costume. I couldn't find a whole bunch of pictures of it, but this is what I did find. That's what I based my outfit off of, if you couldn't tell. I actually did make a veil, but then I realized the veil doesn't work with the green screen, so I couldn't wear it. Pretend like I'm wearing a veil though. Flash forward, they've signed the book, it's official. Grace is now married under Satan. So the rest of the cult members gather and they have the wedding. And after they finish signing their names, Titus is having his moment. He's like, yay, I'm the king of the world. And Grace, my beautiful icon, she takes the fountain pen and stabs the shit out of him. It's so good. Then she kicks him into the pit of carcasses. Yeah, there's a pit of carcasses, by the way. It's disgusting. And there was also a goat that they brought in. They were about to kill this goat. Poor goat. But thankfully, Grace saves the goat. And since she killed him, guess who now owns the Ring of Power? It's Grace, yeah. There's a scene earlier where Titus specifically mentions, there's nothing against killing family members. So that's what Grace does. Genius. So she is in charge of the ring, but she throws it away. She doesn't want anything to do with this shit. And I think she also realizes that there's no way to keep the ring without continuing this cycle. And my girl, she never wanted that power in the first place. All she wanted was a cigarette. She has no motivations besides that. Come on now, you think she wants to be the leader of the world? No. She just wants a cigarette. And then the final scene of the remaining family members fighting in the pit of carcasses over the ring is so incredible. It looks right out of a medieval painting depicting Dante's Inferno. It's very cool, and I do love that that's how they decided to end it, showing that their greed has no bounds. Even though they will all die if they don't just let one person put the ring on, they refuse to not let that one person be them. So they all fight to the death, and fortunately it doesn't go well. And they all pop like water balloons. I think that's poetically just. I think that makes sense. I do think that there maybe was too much body popping in the way of deaths. I think that we could have had a few more creative deaths and not just have people pop. I mean, it added a lot of blood, which was fun, but I don't know. I think there could have been a few different things. Overall, I think it was a fun ending. I love getting to see my fave final girls get to do more stuff. They all get their moment to shine. It's awesome. So many cool costumes. Halloween is not ready for me this year. I could do an entire week just dedicated to Ready or Not. Overall, if you liked the first one, you will definitely like this one as well. And I can't decide if I think it's better or if I think it's worse. I feel like it may be just about the same for me. I like the vibes of the first one, and I think that the mystery adds a lot to it. But this one is stronger emotionally. I really like the juxtaposition between the two sets of siblings. I think that that's really interesting. This one has some better fights, some better kills. They're both really fun in their own way. I don't think I can pick a favorite. I like them both. I think it's a solid continuation. Radio Silence, you've done it again, you saucy minxes. But I really do wish my girl got to be a little bit more feral while mowing down these crazy rich assholes. I wanted more. But that's all I have for now. I have only seen it once so far, so I might change my mind once I see it a couple more times. But overall, I thought it was really fun. What did you think, though? Have you seen it yet? Are you gonna see it? Did you think it was terrible? I don't know. Let me know. I want to talk about it because I have so many conflicting feelings and I'm not entirely sure. Not entirely sure yet, but I can't wait to see it again. I wish I had AMC stubs right now so I could go see it again for cheap, but I don't, so I'd have to pay full price again. I'll probably go, maybe next week, but I gotta wait till I get paid, so okay, that's all I have. I'm gonna go lay down again because I'm still feeling kind of sick. Not in the cool way. I'm feeling sickly. Thanks for watching though. Bye.